When starting their investment journey, most beginners eventually face a fundamental question. Should they invest consistently over time or wait for a market downturn to seize a better opportunity? This dilemma represents the ongoing debate between two popular strategies, dollar cost averaging and buying the dip. Both approaches have their merits and challenges, and understanding them is essential for building a solid investment plan. Dollar cost averaging, commonly known as DCA, involves investing a fixed amount of money at regular intervals, typically weekly or monthly, regardless of market conditions. For instance, an investor might choose to invest $500 on the first day of every month into an index fund, no matter whether the market is up, down, or flat. This disciplined approach eliminates emotional decision-making and focuses on long-term growth. When prices are high, the same amount of money buys fewer shares. When prices are low, it buys more. This method emphasizes time in the market rather than timing the market. It is especially useful for individuals who earn a regular income and seek to gradually build wealth. By removing the stress of predicting the market's direction, DCA fosters consistency, reduces hesitation, and encourages ongoing participation in the market. On the other hand, buying the dip takes a more opportunistic approach. Instead of investing regularly, this strategy involves waiting for stock prices to fall before investing. The logic is straightforward. Buy when prices are lower and secure a bargain. However, identifying the right moment is far from simple. What exactly constitutes a dip, a 5% drop, a 10% drop? And what happens if the market declines further after the investment or rebounds before any action is taken? Buying the dip assumes that the investor can accurately identify a temporary decline and respond in time, which even experienced professionals find difficult. Historically, markets tend to rise over time, and those waiting for the perfect moment often end up missing out on potential gains. To illustrate the contrast between these strategies, consider a hypothetical example involving two investors, Alex and Jordan. Each has $6,000 to invest over the course of 1 year. Alex adopts the dollar cost averaging method, investing $500 at the start of each month. Jordan, by contrast, decides to wait for a market correction of at least 10% before deploying his entire $6,000. In this scenario, the market experiences an 8% decline early in the year. Jordan chooses to wait, anticipating a steeper drop. However, the market quickly recovers following positive economic data and continues to trend upward without hitting his 10% target. Meanwhile, Alex continues to invest through market fluctuations, buying more shares when prices are low and fewer when they rise. By year-end, Alex is fully invested and benefits from the overall growth of the market. Jordan, on the other hand, remains on the sidelines with uninvested cash. This example highlights the difficulty of timing the market and shows how consistent investing can lead to better outcomes, even in volatile conditions. While buying the dip can, in theory, produce higher returns, it rarely does so in practice. To gain a deeper understanding of how these strategies perform over time, a notable study by Charles Schwab examined the hypothetical outcomes of 5 different investors from 2003 to 2022. Each investor received $2,000 annually to invest in the S&P 500, but followed a different approach. One investor, named Peter Perfect, had flawless timing and always invested at the lowest market point each year. Over the 20-year period, Peter ended up with more than $138,000. Another investor, Ashley Action, invested her $2,000 at the beginning of each year without trying to time the market. Her result was impressive as well, with over $127,000, only about $10,500 less than Peter, despite never timing a single dip. A third investor, Matthew Monthly, used the dollar cost averaging approach, spreading his $2,000 evenly across the year. He accumulated more than $124,000, demonstrating the strength of steady and consistent investing. Even Rosie Rotten, who had the worst timing and always invested at the market's peak, ended up with $121,000. Lastly, Larry Linger chose to hold his cash, waiting for the perfect time that never came. His final total was just $44,130, significantly less than the others. Over the long term, lump sum investing, putting all the money to work immediately, often provides the best returns simply because the funds have more time to grow. However, dollar cost averaging still ranked among the top performing strategies due to its consistency and emotional neutrality. In contrast, the attempt to buy the dip usually underperforms, mainly because market timing is extremely difficult and missed opportunities tend to reduce overall returns. It is important to recognize that choosing dollar cost averaging does not mean an investor must ignore market dips altogether. Many long-term investors follow a disciplined DCA strategy while also keeping some cash available to invest during significant downturns. The key is to avoid waiting indefinitely for the perfect moment that may never arrive. Dollar cost averaging aligns well with human behavior. It eliminates the pressure of making investment decisions under emotional stress and removes the anxiety that often comes with trying to predict the market's next move. Many claim they will buy when the market drops, but when that moment arrives, fear often overrides logic. Instead of buying, some investors freeze, or even worse, sell their holdings. Legendary investor Warren Buffett has repeatedly stated that for most people, the smartest approach is to consistently invest in a low-cost index fund. Ultimately, mindset plays just as important a role as strategy. Maintaining discipline, staying consistent, and avoiding emotional reactions are key elements in building long-term investment success. Thanks for watching InvestingFlix, where smart money learns smarter moves. Subscribe for more insights that grow your wealth.